welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back for another video. So today we're going to talk about my top 5 tips for living with ME CFS, Myalgic Encephalomyelitis, chronic fatigue syndrome. If you enjoy content about chronic illness and mental health, definitely subscribe to my channel, as that is what my whole channel is about. So I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome at 16 years old, and I am about to be 22 in about a week actually. So it's been a long time that I've had chronic fatigue, and I've picked up some tips and tricks along the way. So I wanted to share my best tips with you. Okay, so tip number 1 is listen to your body. Now this is one of the most important things to learn when you get a new chronic illness, especially chronic fatigue syndrome. You have to listen to your body, and it can take a while for you to learn what the signals mean. So when I first had chronic fatigue syndrome, all of the feelings in my body were different. I had different pain. It took me a long time to work out what each feeling meant because there were so many new feelings, and it takes time for you to get used to your new body. It's almost like a new body. You have to get used to it, and you have to understand what different signals mean. And I think this is the most important thing, to getting yourself to a point where you can predict what you can and can't do, but also to not cause yourself massive peaks and troughs, or highs and lows, or good patches and really bad symptom patches. The best way I've found to do that is to know your body, so you don't way overextend yourself, because you know what the feelings mean. You know what you're likely to do, and you also know, when I have this feeling, it means stop. When I have this feeling, it means I need to eat. You know, when I have this feeling, it means I need to rest, but I could carry on later. This is super important for treatments like pacing. You can't really do pacing unless you understand how your body feels. And part of learning how to pace includes learning how to read what your body means by things. Also, if you want to try graded exercise therapy, which is controversial, I have a whole video on my opinions of it, but if you want to try it, if you don't listen to your body, you will make yourself so much worse. You have to listen to your body. If you do anything like graded exercise therapy, or going on walks, or trying to increase your exercise or your fitness, you have to be able to listen to your body and know when you've pushed it too far. You have to be in tune with your body. If you're not, you will cause so much damage, and it can be really damaging if either you don't know what your body's trying to tell you, or you push through. If you've got ME, CFS, do not push through. Pushing through is no. Do not push through. Rest. Knowing about your body also is involved with using mobility aids. Now, when I was 17 and at my lowest point, I could really have benefited from a mobility aid, but I hated them. I felt self-conscious, I felt uncomfortable, I felt out of control. I had a lot of stigma in my mind about wheelchairs and any other mobility aid. Wheelchairs were the main thing that I really didn't want, but all mobility aids had that same stigma attached to them for me. I wasn't really disabled. I was just a bit unwell. So I didn't deserve a wheelchair, and looking back, I know that I should have been using mobility aids, but because I was stubborn and terrified and uncomfortable, I would not do it. And I think knowing your body and knowing if you need something is so much more important than paying attention to what other people think. I will be getting a walking stick in the near future, and it's something I probably should have bought a long time ago. Physical fitness wise, I'm nowhere near the worst I've been. I'm also not at the best I've been, you know, I'm somewhere in the middle, and I probably should have been using a walking stick this whole time, but I was uncomfortable and I was self-conscious, and I'm still uncomfortable and self-conscious, but when I need something, I need it, and I'm not gonna let my doubts take things away from me, especially things I need. And I need aid with walking sometimes, so I'm getting one. I'm taking my own advice. Tip number 2 for surviving with a fatigue condition like chronic fatigue is find a good GP or find a good primary doctor. I cannot stress how much of a difference it makes to have a good doctor who is on your side, who will listen, who will suggest things, who will send you to the right specialist when you ask. Some doctors don't. Some doctors aren't very useful for chronic health conditions, especially ones like chronic fatigue syndrome that have limited evidence of a physical cause, or there isn't much research so they don't entirely understand the condition. Finding yourself a good GP can make so many things so much easier. It'll be easier for you to get medication. It'll be easier for you to get specialist appointments. It'll be easier for you to get treatments. And if your doctor is interested, if they're engaged, they'll do research. You can ask them a question and they might not know because it can be a complicated condition that isn't necessarily taught extensively. But if you have someone who is engaged, they will find out for you. And that is so important. Don't just go to whoever you've always gone to if they're not good enough. Don't just go to the first doctor you talk to if they're not good enough. Make sure the doctor you're speaking to is doing their best and is looking out for you. Having a good GP makes a world of difference. I had a great GP for years and sadly she's retired now, but I think I found a new doctor who is also good, but I've only had a couple of appointments, so I'm still, but I'm still seeing whether she's going to be good for me. Okay, so tip number 3 is don't try to appear normal. This was a big thing for me. When I was first sick, I barely talked about it. I didn't tell my friends, I didn't tell anyone what was going on with me. I tried to hide it and I tried to seem like I was before. I stopped doing the sport I had been doing, but I played it off like, oh, I'm just lazy, I can't be bothered with sport anymore, I didn't want to talk about it and I just wanted to appear normal, which is ridiculous. I wasn't normal. The word normal is unhelpful in this situation, but you know what I mean. I wasn't the same as the average 16, 17, 18-year-old. I wasn't. And I couldn't keep up with them. And I didn't want people to know that. In public, if I started feeling a lot of pain, I would just walk right through it. If I was walking somewhere with someone, I wouldn't make them stop for me to sit down. So many things. I don't understand what I was thinking. Now, if I'm walking with a friend and I see a place to sit, I will say, we need to stop, I need to sit. And they'll stay. Like, people don't care if you want to sit down, that's fine. Like, I don't know why I thought it was such a big deal that I had to keep up with them. People don't mind slowing down to your pace. If I need to sit down, I'll tell someone and we'll find somewhere to sit. If I need to walk slower, I'll say. If I need something else, I will tell them. I have a chronic illness, it is disabling to me, and I need something. Almost everyone is kind and supportive. Even when they don't understand, most people try to help. So you don't have to try and just fit in with everyone. It's not a good use of your energy pretending to be normal. It's not. And I think I spent a lot of time worrying about not appearing normal, and it doesn't matter to me anymore. I'm not average. I'm not the same as the average person, and that's fine. It's one of those things that like gets into your head, and you think it's so important that nobody knows. People can know. In fact, I think it's better if people do know. It's easier. When you ask for help, they're happier to give it if they understand why you need it. So tip number 4, find people that understand. You need people who understand. Hopefully your family and your existing friends are making an effort to understand. Hopefully they're getting there. My group of friends I met at university because we were in a flat of people with illnesses. So we were all grouped together and that was great. But that's not really a realistic situation for most people. You can find people in Facebook groups or on Instagram. There's so many people online who understand you, no matter what it is. No matter how niche your illness or your problem is, there will be someone on the internet who understands what you're going through and will be kind enough to talk and will be interested and will listen and will help. If you need someone to talk to, you can message me on Instagram. There's a massive community of people with chronic illnesses on Instagram, and in my experience, they're all lovely people. So yeah, find people who relate to you. There is something about being able to talk to someone who goes, oh yeah, I have that too. I totally understand what you mean. There's something about that which is such an amazing feeling, and I definitely recommend trying to find someone who will talk with you about whatever it is you're going through. I think that's a really important thing. And point number 5 is don't beat yourself up about things you can't do. Sometimes you plan to do something. Like today I'm gonna be really productive and get all my uni work done. Say that was my plan today. That's not gonna happen. And that would make me feel bad. I know, this one I struggle to follow. If you have a plan to do something on a day and you can't do it, you don't get it done, you have to cancel it, don't beat yourself up about it. This one I still struggle with because when I feel like I'm not productive enough, sometimes I feel bad. For example, I haven't done any university work this week and I do feel guilty, but I know I needed this week off because I keep having crises about everything. It doesn't mean I don't feel guilty about it, but I shouldn't, and I know that. You don't get something done, or you don't get anything done, or it's been ages since you got something done, don't beat yourself up about it. You know, it's not ideal, but it's not a failure of you. It's not a personal failure, because sometimes resting or lower energy things take precedent. Sometimes you just can't do what it is you want to do, and that is not your fault, and you shouldn't feel bad about not being productive enough. Productivity is not the most important thing. We live in a capitalist society, which means we've been socialised, we've been taught that productivity is so important. Not really. Being healthy, being happy, they're more important. We should all try not to tie our self-worth to the productivity, especially if you have a chronic illness, which means your productivity maybe fluctuates, or maybe on some days you can't do anything at all. It's so important that we can separate our self-worth and our self-love from productivity. Would I like to be more productive? Yes, but I am still a valid and wonderful human even if I do nothing for weeks on end. So recap, listen to your body, find a good GP, don't try and be normal. Find people who understand, and don't beat yourself up when you can't do something you wanted to do. There you go. Those are my top 5 tips. I'm sure I can think of another 5 if you want more tips. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. And comment down below and tell me what your number 1 tip for living with a chronic illness would be. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Bye bye. Point 5, to like, you know,